Oh, my enemies, there is no friend. Oh, my friend, there is no enemy. That's not how it goes. Oh, dear Aristotle, I don't have the Aristotle in front of me, but I do have something better. Oh, my God. This guy is like, woo! Icarus, baby, Icarus. First person statements about the past. Now, I had read, what was it, 204, 205, and 206, which mainly covers the case, which I had not known, but I'm telling you that this literature is absolutely full. Sorry for saying absolutely, it's a useless word. This is, what do I replace absolutely with? I don't need anything. It's full. The text is full of world famous examples in the making. I mean, it's like it is as though the discourse itself is such that the examples it generates are just earth-shattering. So, on 205, in the essay First Person Statements About the Past, Castaneda introduces Dr. Shekel and Mr. Fabian. Now, you can learn about the example in previous, what was the title? I think it was Shekel and Fabian, I think was the title of the video. Anyway. So, the paper is a chunky chunk of weighty weight. It is a chunky chunk of weighty weight. Just that example. Shekel and Fabian. So, Dr. Shekel is a psychiatrist. Fabian is like Shekel's alter ego, essentially. And there's a question about where and when the knowledge relation is bijective with respect to, adequate correlation between Fabian and Shekel. In the Phrygian sense, Fabian and Shekel are sinna, they are senses of the Bedeutung, and the Bedeutung is the referent, namely, that man. Which man, Shekel or Fabian? Exactly. Now, this is the first few days that I've started to think about this paper. And I must admit, I haven't read Hector Neri Castaneda all that deeply. He's one of those writers that it's like it's made of pure plutonium. Like a little bit goes a long way. And Limburger cheese, or what's the other one? Blue cheese. Something. What did our dear professor of Health and Human Services say? That he only eats. Oh, and I could probably do his voice too. They asked him, like, well, what would you eat at the Super Bowl? And RFK, we should use his full name, to really disgrace the family name. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Make them feel the historical weight, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said about what he will eat at the Super Bowl. He says, well, mainly what did he say? Mainly I eat protein. I can't do his voice. My own voice probably gets more like him than when I try to impersonate him. How's that work? Anyway. He says he only eats meat and ferments. 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 I guess he means cheeses, mainly. But then he suggested that he would eat some yogurt during the Super Bowl. I mean, look, in the United States of America, we're very welcoming of eclectic people, even if they're full of shit. But, somebody who's eclectic and full of shit should not be Secretary of Health and Human Services. If that's his title. I don't even know what the fuck his title is. I mean, it's, measles enthusiasm. Yeah, make America measles again. Mame. Yeah. Okay, so shekel. Shekel is a Hebrew word. It means weight. Different spelling, same etymology, and so forth. The coin or the unit of currency, that's commonly spelled shekel in English. English. shekel, shekel. Now, Castaneda uses shekill. That's not a common spelling. Compare with Jekyll, I suppose. It's too easy. I don't like the Jekyll and Hyde thing because it's just too obvious, and I don't know how much we get out of that. No. Shekel means weight. Now remember, this is Hector Neri Castaneda. I mean, there is no decision being made about printing any letter, any alphabetic letter of any word without intense deliberation. So, of course, in order to illustrate the thought experiment, Castaneda chooses the names just the same way. I mean, philosophy is full of this. Philosophers love to be cute, smart asses, and clever, and congratulate themselves. So Berkeley, for example, if you took Modern Philosophy 101, the Brits, the empiricists, Berkeley is one of the big ones. and what is it? Hylas and Philoneus, right? The dialogue between Hylas and Philoneus. Hylas, highly, hylomorphism, qualities, and Philoneus, the friend of knowledge, or the friend of knowing, Soph, knowledge, Sophia, wisdom, philosoph, love of wisdom, Philoneus, love of knowledge. Roughly. Nous is N-O-U-S, new, Omicron, Upsilon, Sigma. Is that it? I don't know. That's like really the big esoteric word in Greek philosophy. One of them. Well, I mean, there's many, many esoteric words, but nous is at the top of the list here. Even I can do show and tell. And I can, imagine this. Look. Imagine this. Now we really see how nerdy that we are. What kind of nerddom. See, I have to make jokes about how nerdy and like mutated and like whatever. Look, what I'm talking about right now, classical learning, polymathic classical learning, that was the highest ideal. If you had the privilege and the standing to be able to have, you can read Latin, you can read Greek, you know the classics, you can think syllogistically, analogically, metaphorically, symbolically, and all of this. You can analyze things. You can bring things together in new combinations and so on. Hector Neri Castaneda founded Nous. This is one of the canonical journals, sometime in the 50s, I think. Hector Neri Castaneda is what we in philosophy circles call a motherfucker. And nobody can dispute it. Go find any comp-lit critical theorist, phenomenologist, dialectical, Hegelian, German idealist, French post-structuralist, whatever, if they even have heard of Hector Neri Castaneda, but all you really have to do is, if they've never heard of him, you just show them 2 or 3 sentences and they'll go, oh yeah, that's pretty dope. And of course, in Anglo-analytic philosophy, Hector Neri Castaneda is on a par with the greats. David Lewis, Saul Kripke, John Perry, David Kaplan, and so on. Frege, Carnap, Quine, David Lewis. Who did Lewis teach? Chalmers? No. That's a pretty direct line, isn't it? I always loved that. You got teachers and students. Frege, Carnap, Quine, Lewis. Straight through. Was Lewis Quine's teacher? Who did Quine teach? I mean, was Quine Lewis's teacher? Who did Quine teach? How do I not know who Quine teached? Donald Davidson. I'm not thinking of, see, look. How's that for error correction? No, I'm thinking of Donald Davidson. And then, guess what happened? Donald Davidson was the teacher of my teacher, Higginbotham. And who was the teacher of this student? Higginbotham. How's that for lineage? Frege, Carnap, Quine. Who did Quine teach? Davidson, Higginbotham, Fergatis. That puts me in sixth. Holy shit! Amazing. The sixth way. Fakir, Sufi, Yogi, Gurdjieff, Jancoxy, and Dimitri, and Dimitri Fergati. Fakir, Sufi, what are gurus called? Yogi, Gurdjieff, Jancoxy, Dimitri Fergati. Fakir, Sufi, Yogi, Gurdjieff, Jancox, Dimitri. And then here's Frege, Carnap, Quine, Davidson, Higginbotham, Dimitri. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. Shall we do the phenomenology? Now let's do the phenomenologists. I'm going to lose track of how many lineages that I'm fucking part of. So one is, roughly Gurdjieff. The other one is roughly Frege. Now, we'll do Derrida. Can we do Derrida? Who's Derrida's teacher? Do I know who the fuck did Derrida study with? Well, I mean, we know what he read, but who the fuck was his teacher? Oh, this is a big blasphemy. If Professor Kamoff sees this, boy. And I can't very well look it up right now. It'll just come to, Levinas. How about that? No, but who did, I mean, so sure. No. At the school. When, let's say, who was it that failed him, that didn't pass him when the first time that he did his doctoral exam? Okay, so the idea is that we have to get from Husserl to me. How do we get from Husserl to me in 6 degrees? Shit, it's like fucking 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon shit. That's one thing about that philosophy always looks. It either looks like a complete waste of time, or it looks too good to be true, and then you just think, that's too good to be true. That must be worthless. Well, hold on here. Hold on a second. Hold on now. Is there really a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon principle about the lineages that I belong to? Okay, we're gonna start now with Husserl, and we're gonna get to me. And we have from getting to me. Oh, we can we can have steps between me and Derrida. So like, let's say it goes, oh, and we can put Professor Kameff there. Oh my God, this is too good. Oh, it just lines up like crazy. Jeez, all my teachers. Oh man, this is gonna. Okay. So Husserl. Well, we got to start at Husserl. That's the way to do it. Way to do it. Oh, who was Husserl's student? Who was Husserl's student? Come on. Hey. 20th century lineages of French and German phenomenology. I mean, it's really that the constraint is, like, what I'm shooting for is really the idea is that there's not only is there an immediate teacher-student connection, but it's a profound connection. Like, you can get hold of Carnap's notes on Frege. From how on earth did Carnap? Well, I guess toward the end, I mean, Frege did get pretty famous among like 10 people, I guess. Okay. Who's after Husserl? Oh, shit! Fucking Heidegger. Why am I so... Yeah, and you're sitting there going, Dimitri, think, dude, think. Heidegger, 1926 or 25 or 27. When is being in time released? Now, was Levinas Heidegger's student? Probably. Heidegger had lots of students. Hannah Arendt. Hannah Arendt wound up at the school, the name of which is printed at the top of my master's degree. Let's see. So we're from Heidegger. Now we've got to get from Heidegger to Derrida in immediate lineage. Who does that? Who did Heidegger teach? Merleau-Ponty. No. Who did Heidegger teach? Frankfurt people? But there's no Frankfurt people that were directly teacher of Derrida. See, that's the problem is who is, this is puzzling now, who is for real Derrida's number one intellectual heir that actually taught him. Now we're gonna get the LLM out and see. Can you imagine? I didn't even get to the analysis of this is brilliant, if I do say so myself. I mean, is it not absurd that the leader of all of Earth and humanity, well, he's not the leader of Earth, but he's definitely the head honcho of humanity, every single sentence out of his mouth is, boy, I'm the greatest ever. And then you got people like me, right? Where like every other thing out of our mouth is like, oh, I had a pretty good idea. So I'm sorry. Oh, well, Dimitri, you think it's a good idea, right? You think, but like you're imposing that on us? Is that what's happening? I don't know. I mean, with an imposition, with a coercive imposition, as widely ranging and sweeping as what we are, the duress that we are living under right now, I don't think anybody can compete with the absurdity. And perhaps we need more intellectuals now to become arrogant, arrogantly intellectual. Now you're going to get ready for people to hurl woke hate speech at you. I mean, hate speech designed to target woke people. Look, you are being called. It is a summons. You are to testify. Intellectuals become arrogant. Arrogant. A shekel means weight. Fabian. Varicosus. Is it Fabius Maximus Fabius Varicosus? Found himself in the position to defend against Hannibal in the Punic Wars. The Fabian strategy, what is it called? The Fabian something or other, is pure structural attrition. Not direct opposition, not overpowering. Compare with things like, I don't know, Sun Tzu and Aikido, maybe. Aikido. But let's not fall into familiar locutions like, using the momentum of your enemy and stuff like that. Let's not fall into that, because the thought experiment that I have, so we are to understand by the Fabian strategy is attrition, which means slow, deliberate degradation. A war of attrition, even though we don't want to use the word war, but it's the most familiar usage of the word attrition. A war of attrition is slow, deliberate endurance, degrading the capacities of your opponent. Nothing flashy, nothing conspicuous. That other thing, that expression that's very popular these days, you might have the clock, or the clocks, plural probably, but we've got the time. So attrition is related to time, and it's related to extraordinary pressure and endurance. So I live right next to the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, which is a gigantic, elevated freeway in Brooklyn. It's a bunch of steel and concrete. And CHS, concrete and cement, is an old technology. It's actually due to the Romans. Vitruvius, Opus Caementicum. That is, Opus Caementicum is the name for the original Roman lime cement, lime concrete. Lime pozzolanic concrete from Pozzuoli, the volcano in Pozzuoli, supposedly ejects a very special kind of pozzolanic ash. Pozzuoli, that's where the pozzolanic properties of CSH reactants are such that they reinforce, the pozzolanic properties reinforce the existing calcium silicate hydrate reactions. Modern concrete is a different story. It was a rediscovery in the Enlightenment period because concrete had almost become completely forgotten during the Middle Ages. Literally forgotten. In Europe, they went back to building dwellings with fucking mud. Dark Ages shit, illiteracy goes deep. Are you ready to build your house out of mud? Lord knows nobody can buy a house anymore. People will start building them out of mud. And forget about even modern concrete. Modern concrete is everything's faster, harder, more robust immediately, but long term, it crumbles. It crumbles. The best modern concrete will fall apart after no more than 100 years maximum. There are breakwaters and walls in Italy, all over the place, even in North Africa, that have literally been there for literally, not figuratively, 2,000 years. So the Fabian strategy of positive, indirect, or oblique degradation of the opponent is quite interesting to consider for me anyway, from the perspective of modern concrete and its use involved in the building of things like freeway overpasses. The weight of the whole structure is massive. And a lot of the weight is the concrete itself. But it's not all of the weight due to the concrete. There's, of course, the whole structure is imposed by the world. So it's a structure of coercion put on, let's say, the concrete foundation. And the symbolism, give me some leeway. But the basic point is the shekel is the weight, and the Fabian approach is indirect degradation over time of one's opponent. Castaneda obviously has chosen these words with a fair degree, we should assume, of reflective awareness and deliberation and intentionality. And we remind ourselves that, of course, one of the interpretations of the story, anyway, I don't know if it exhausts all the interpretations, if there's some metaphysical connector by, absolute necessary hardwiring somewhere in the essay that I overlooked, but Fabian is shekel. Shekel is the weight. Fabian is indirect attrition over time.